Some quick other notes from the card. TJ Dillashaw continues to give fans a reason to just hate him. I don't know if you heard about this, though.
Nope.
So steps into the fight, throws a kick at Sterling. Sterling catches the kick, trips him up, has him down on the ground, and you see Dillashaw wincing really badly, like instantly. And about 30 seconds in, you realize Dillashaw's arm is compromised. He can't get up on it. He can't defend with it. He's just in the corner getting pounded on by Sterling, and he can't really defend it. And it feels like the fight could stop any second. Dillashaw manages to like scramble, turn, avoid, even finds his way to his feet in the last 60 seconds. You just kind of watched him like get through a beating. You realize his shoulder's been dislocated, and that's why he can't put pressure on it to stand up. And you feel like, oh, how unfortunate. What a warrior. He goes back to his corner, and between what his corner is saying and what the ref's saying, you realize they knew this could happen. And it turns out the fight finishes in the next round. Dillashaw starts out on the feet. He doesn't even throw the arm. Like they pop the shoulder back into place, but he's not using it. He's not striking with it. So he's just striking with one hand. So it doesn't take that long for Sterling to figure it out, get another takedown. And this time he just works his way back and forth between attacking chokes, attacking the ground and pound. Sterling looks like he has 10 pounds of muscle on Dillashaw as well. So kind of easily manhandles him. And it's just a mauling that is not competitive anyway whatsoever. So we learn after the fight that Dillashaw dislocated his shoulder in April and popped it back into place about 20 times throughout the rest of the training camp. And he didn't participate in any of the training stuff during fight week because he knew it might pop out. So I'm not the kinesiologist or person, but like, can you talk on, because I've known people who like, yeah, I've had to pop my shoulder back in 50 times, but what, like, there's some connection between healing time and like
Yeah.
popping it back in and letting it heal before straining it again, or it's going to pop out easier.
Yeah, so there's 6 degrees of dislocation in a shoulder, just like varying levels of ankle sprains and stuff like that. Um, and like you said, the clinical recommendation is to never pop your own shoulder in because you can do it improperly and then it misaligns your muscle, your ligament, your nerves in your shoulder and can lead to long-term damage. Uh, like you said, once you pop your shoulder out once, it's more likely to pop out again. So if something's happening 20 times, then it's extremely likely that he's going to go into a fight and pop it out again. So pretty much, again, you nailed it right on the head. Is you have to make sure when you go and clinically get it popped back in, you have to strengthen it up again before you can use it. But no matter what you do, it's always going to be more likely to pop out because it has done so in the first place. So anyone out there who is popping their shoulder back into place, again, depends on the severity of the first time you dislocated it or the severity of when you're dislocating it. But generally, do not do it yourself. Wait for a medical professional to do it for you.
I met this guy in Costa Rica who was like a surfer. He was into BMX, snowboarding, and he was who I was talking about when I said like had popped it back in 50 times. And
Yeah.
what he told me was like however the first however many accidents, like 5, 10, I think it was mostly BMX related.
Yeah.
He'd always have to go to the hospital. On like the fifth or sixth trip, he was kind of like, man, can you just teach me to do that? Like I'm getting sick of having to come here every time. So I'm
Yeah.
not like if you have a proclivity towards extreme sports,
Oh,
chances
yeah.
are it's going to
People
happen.
still do it. And I would learn to do it properly, but I would also say if you're going to learn to do it yourself, also learn the exercises necessary to avoid popping it out.
Anyway, it was such a funny because like Dillashaw, a guy kind of most of the fan base feels pretty vehemently against. Like it's so hard to catch cheaters. When you do finally catch one, you kind of vent a lot more rage than just the single offense, I feel like. And
Yeah.
watching him like fight through that first round, it felt like, oh, what a tough break. Like how unlucky. He's still such a warrior. Maybe if he makes it through. But like they pop the shoulder back in and you still can't use it. That just speaks to how ridiculously compromised it was. So what was the game plan coming in? Like, you have one chance at a high kick landing for a knockout. Like, it was just such a waste of Sterling's fight camp as a champion. They could have pulled out, given him another opponent. It's sort there is an element to which, as a worker, this is his job and he needs to step into the ring to get paid, and it would be a letdown for him. But when you say it started in April, it kind of, all my sympathy disappears. Like, this didn't happen the last week. This wasn't a one-time thing. The level of hope that was present, of like, maybe we can get through this, was non-existent. This was just such a waste. And it's just a continuation of fighters, which is unsurprising, not knowing what's best for them, but their corners never speaking up and never shutting them down when they really, really should be. Usually just for the fighter's health, but this time for the fans' sake as well. What a waste of a pay-per-view co-main event slot.